Mm. Hey, Sandy.
Hey, Kay. Welcome, everybody, to this little experiment of taking our Empowered Voices podcast live. And we've just reached out, invited a bunch of you to come on and join us. I'd like to, first of all, we want to introduce ourselves and tell you a little bit about what our podcast is about and how it came to be. So I'm Sandy Evenson. I'm in Rochester, New York. And I met Kay actually by phone at first when I started my training to become a coach in the Tapping into Wealth Coach program with Margaret Lynch Ranieri. So this is Kay Walker over there.
Hi, you guys. This is one of my dreams, one of my hopes and dreams coming through. Thanks to Sandy. Thanks, Sandy. I love this one.
Yeah, it's so fun because when we finally did a couple of years ago, actually, we were at the annual Ignite Your Power event, had a moment, and she said, I want to do a podcast, but I don't think I want to do it by myself. And I just said, well, I'll do it. We don't know a thing about how to do it, but we're just going to do it. And through this last year, we've been doing recordings. We've been getting together, hashing it out, and then actually recording on different subjects. It's Jude from Ireland. Welcome. That's so great. Welcome. And so, we started this whole concept recording on Zoom. And then when it goes out, it's not ready to publish yet, almost. It'll go out on audio because we know people like to take their podcasts with them and be able to walk, run, jog, be in the car, do anything. I put my phone in my pocket when I'm chopping vegetables, cooking, and I'm listening. So it's going to be a really fun thing to progress with. But during this time of mandatory isolation, I thought, why not just reach out and see who can come on with us and be part of this and get a little bit more of that social connection that we're looking for, because we've deemed it physical separation and social connection. So that's where we're at. We've got a lot of things we're working on. We found some great music for the podcast. We've done some intro and outro and that kind of thing, making decisions on where it's going to stay and be housed and then launched out to all the different platforms. So today we have a topic, but we want to be able to kind of banter back and forth. We hope that you'll join us, either write in on the chat or wave at us, and we'll raise your hand if you're on the phone, and we'll talk about things. Right, Kay?
Yes, we will. We are talkers. We're storytellers. We're connectors. We love the women. And we so want to embrace and welcome our men. This is so big. It's time. It's time we welcome you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, give us a little bit more scenario about this podcast. We're calling it Our Empowered Voices. It's about empowering women, but we're asking men to come in and be a part of that.
Yeah. It's just, for me, I've come from, I started growing, I'm going to give my age. I started growing up in the 50s, and there were different roles, men and girls and boys, men and women. And there still are, but it got bad for a little while. And then we didn't know what to do with it. And, as you go through changes, there's that piece of, this was so bad for me, I want to be acknowledged. Just acknowledge me, just listen to me. And so I think we're through parts of it, and we just want to bring people together and listen to stories and start to, may I say, heal anything within ourselves, within our partners, within our men, within our women partners. It just seems like a time to start healing. It's not saying that's okay. It's not okay. But what's okay? Here we are. How can we move forward and heal what has come? I want to do both of them at the same time.
Yes.
I want to be moving forward, and I also want to be acknowledging and healing. And Sandy and I have found in these last many months the stories that people tell. I think the stories come into us and connect and allow for me, they allow for even more compassion and empathy. And then I know how to, it's not that I know how, but I start to feel differently. Oh, I could have more compassion. That's not in my intellect, but I feel it in my body.
Mm,
So it's the stories and the connecting. Yeah, that's what we're about. That's what I want to do. That's what I want
right.
to learn better, how to connect with you through story. Yeah.
And we are connecting with people, particularly right now, women around the world in all walks of life, in every age bracket, and with all sorts of different situations going on. So you will hear when we start launching these the interviews we've already done, and we hope that the word will spread and we'll get people interested in wanting to share their story, because the more we can share, the more we can heal, and we can promote each other. You know, if you have a business that you want to promote and you're doing good in the world, we want to spread that. So
For
we'll
sure.
be telling you about things that we're doing and giving you some links to some free products and free ways of helping you. But at the same time, you can share that too. So we'll grow this tribe together, and definitely invite everyone in from everywhere. I've been kind of amazed at some of the people we've talked to who, when we tell them about this, they go, oh yeah, I like that idea, right? Kay, it's kind of
They
infectious.
they're very supportive, genuinely, in wanting to be involved and participate and listen, be on the sideline, and also come in
Mm-hmm.
and find their voice to tell a story. They think, oh, I'm just ordinary. My story doesn't matter. I opened the front door today and I went out and just peeked around. Well,
Yeah,
we all
yeah,
do that. So,
yeah. And particularly right now, the level of stress and anxiety is higher than ever. It already was, particularly in America, and because of the hyper pace. And now, with all the uncertainty, nobody really knows. And so it's just another reason we wanted to go a little bit more live today. It's an experiment. It might be the only time. We might do it some more now and then. We're not sure what we're going to do, right? But we
right.
just want you to know that we're here. We're looking at ways that we can help you reduce your stress. And we're coaches. So in our processes, when we're working one-on-one or in groups, we do use different tools. One of them, as you guys might know, is tapping, or EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. And we go a little deeper than most people do with that, but there are ways very, very quickly, and it's proven now through over 100 studies, peer reviews, all sorts of things, that tapping does reduce your level of the fight or flight stress response very quickly. And by doing that, you actually increase your immune system's ability to fight off viruses and disease.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's really powerful. So, Kay, I was really interested in what you were talking about the other day. One of our role models is Brene Brown,
Mm-hmm.
and she's launched a podcast. And
For sure.
so I thought you'd talk about that because it's really very poignant to what we're talking about.
Yes, thank you. When I listened to Brene's first podcast, she was talking about an FFT, and I am going to refer to it as an FTT because I don't know who's listening and I don't want to offend anyone, frankly. So FTT stands for first terrible time. The FFT is a first freaking time, right? I'm not going to say my other F word because I just don't want to offend. It's just how I am.
Exactly.
So this first, but the point is there's first times for a lot of the things that we do. first time to drive when you're young, first time to go to the university, first time, even when you're older, first time for dating. Oh my gosh. And those first times you think, oh, here I am frozen. I should know how to do this. I should know how to do it. I should know how to do it. Well, you know what? You don't. And that is the point. That's normal. It's the first time. And what you can do is notice in your body, in yourself, in your intellect, and in your body wisdom. Oh, here's how I'm feeling. This is what it feels like to be doing something for the first time. Some people are scared. Some people are frozen. I don't know how to do this. It's the first time. And some people are just out there like, yeah, it's the first time, a little bit anxious, but let me hit this button, or let me hit that, or let me go, let me just go do it. Who cares? So there's a big variety. But notice how you come into your first time. And so then there's that next piece where you can normalize it. So this is the first time. It's not going to be the only time it's first. But as you go through this first time, it's not always going to be this hard. You're going to pay attention. You're going to learn. You're going to start to move. So you normalize it. It's not going to be this way forever, and you're not going to feel this way forever. It's okay to feel where you are, and it's okay to move with it, breathe, and normalize it. And then the third thing that you can do that she talked about is, I have a cat too, is there's expectations. And you can work with looking at those expectations, checking them. Is this realistic? Or is this something I think I have to do? Does this really work for me? How can I work with, acknowledge, and adapt my expectations so that they're real? Because otherwise you're going to fail. If you set an expectation that really isn't yours, that really isn't realistic. So this is a big one where we are with isolation.
Right. And we were talking about that earlier, how, you name it. Oh my God, I'm in a freaking first time. And this is an FFT, but what we're in right now is a collective FFT, a collective freaking first time, or a first freaking time, or however we want to say it. We have not done this before. So, here's Kay and I, not done a podcast really. We're working our way through it. And today doing this is already a first time. And that's so minor compared to the world today and what's going on. And we name it right now, and we get perspective. We kind of pull away from it and get a little perspective, and we breathe. We want everybody to take a breath. We're all in this together. And I love the idea of expectations, because when we start out with this, we get pretty freaked out. The freaking first time is like, oh my God. But as we begin to sit in it and breathe in it for a while and use some of our practical ways, we can move through in a calmer way. It's kind of like having that practical mom energy or dad energy. And we can balance between being able to handle stuff and being unsure. And that unsafety doesn't mean, I got it backwards. The uncertainty doesn't mean that we're unsafe. When we're taking our precautions and we're doing what we need to do to stay safe, right?
Right, we have to look at it. Yeah. So I would love to hear a first time story. So whether it's first time with our isolation and what that story is, or whether it's first time with starting a new program, or starting a new relationship, or whatever that is. Just a personal story. How do you think you felt? Did you acknowledge how you were feeling? But can you remember if you didn't? I just want to hear that. Yeah, or not.
Jude, Kalish, anything coming up to mind for you guys? Jude needs to move to somewhere, what? Somewhere I can
Oh,
talk.
she can
Oh,
talk, so she can't talk here.
okay.
So yeah,
Okay, I got
yeah,
you.
yeah. So I've been. I just went to our big coaching event, and I had a couple of first times. And one of the things that I did was I got up on stage and talked for 5 minutes in a dress.
And she was fabulous.
That was a first time. And I was really nervous, and yet I was excited. I had a lot of support. So it wasn't like walking into a tiger's den.
Mhm.
But it was a little bit scary. Oh my gosh,
Look,
there's Chris.
Chris,
Hi.
hello, welcome. Welcome to our party. Good to
Hello,
see you.
beautiful.
Hello.
Yeah. So
And Kay, you did a great job.
thank you, Kalish. Yeah.
Didn't she? Yeah. We're talking,
Yeah.
Chris, we're talking about first times. Because, you know, this is our first time to go through what the world is going through, right? And it's all new territory. So we're talking about the experience and feeling. So Kay was just talking about the fact that she got up on stage this year at Ignite Your Power for the first time.
Right.
What was that like, Kay? Tell us what it felt like.
Actually, it felt comfortable once I was there. It felt terrifying before. So a tiny story is I was rooming with Sandy for the couple of days before we started the main event. And at one point, and it was probably midnight, the night before, I was trying to finish up what I was going to say, and I had to commit it to memory. I couldn't use my notes. And I just said to Sandy, you know what? Do you ever get to the point where you're just done? Where you see this, you've tried to work this out, you're trying to say something, and now you're in the middle of it, and you don't know where you're going, and you just want to get sick, go to the bathroom, and then leave, like on an airplane, right? So that's where I was, and it came out fine the next day. I felt comfortable because all of these people out there, I knew. Some I had just met, but I knew them, and I felt their hearts, and it felt warm, and I felt okay about it. And it was a big, like Hawaii, it was a big turning point for me. Now, mind you, it's only been today's Thursday, so 2 weeks ago that I gave it, but I am a different person. I did that big first time thing, and I'm different. I'm still me. I put my shoes on in the morning. I still hesitate sometimes when I have to go out the door, but I did it. I can do first things. Like, I'm not as afraid of my shadow as I was 2 weeks ago, trying to get on an airplane and leave so that I didn't have to talk. So
Big.
for me, that one was good. Yeah. Yeah.
Just a caveat to that, Kay, because we were up kind of sitting on our beds, you know, working on our 5-minute thing. And she was up the next day for it. It was her turn, and mine wasn't for another couple days, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, she said, I just want to delete it all because it's not. And I said, well, that's when your most brilliant stuff comes. When you really, you know, you're just like, this isn't it. And when you start to write again, when you start to think about it again, the most brilliant stuff comes. And when you were ready and you just went out to talk to them like you talk to everyone from your heart, it was genuine and everybody felt it. It was incredible.
Thank you. It was fun. It was really good. So I'd love to hear
Jude,
from you guys.
Yeah, Jude, did you have something you were gonna
Um, well, yeah, I also just want to comment on Kay and how amazing that whole thing was. And just, I mean, I said it to you personally, Kay. I mean, it was like meeting a different person, and seeing you get up and doing that day, and just your whole demeanor around that whole event was quite extraordinary, really quite extraordinary. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's lovely, lovely to witness.
Mhm.
Thank you.
So yeah, a first time for doing something. Well, Sandy, you already have heard me talking about this, but shortly before the Ignite event there a couple of weeks ago, I had a conversation with somebody in my life who is somebody that I tend to hide a lot in the relationship. I don't tend to speak my mind. I don't tend to be particularly forthright with her, and um, I just was. It just came out of my mouth. And didn't go particularly well, but it was okay because it happened, and it happened organically, and like you're saying, Kay, you know, it's like, okay, I now know that I can have difficult conversations with that person and survive,
Mhm.
and that the relationship can hold it. And that's something that's been a really, really important first for me. There are lots of people I can have difficult conversations with. This particular person, no.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it
Awesome.
was, and the world is different afterwards.
Mhm.
It's very, very true. It's like, I'm different, and because I'm different, the world is also different.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And so,
And
oh,
no,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, I know that Chris just came back from a first. Where were you, Bali?
Yeah, I went to Bali on a spiritual retreat, and it was, you know, we started this work together. I think was for Rockstars the first year that you did it, Sandy, the year that I did. I know Kay, you were in it a while before I came
Mhm.
in. Kay was the first person to welcome me into Rockstars with a warm hug, and it was, you know, coming home. It felt like.
Mhm.
But yeah, I just returned last Wednesday, yeah, from a trip across the world with an uncertain world to take myself to the next level of fully and completely accepting myself, loving myself, and being willing to no longer hide and step out with my business even more. I've had tremendous growth in the last year, and the year before that, when I did the mastery coaching, was a huge year for me as well. And it's just interesting to now put my focus towards the actual business piece of it. But I needed this up leveling personally, and it's still happening. Like, after such expansion, to come home to isolation,
Wow.
and to live into that expansion has been a really eye-opening experience. You know,
Wow.
there's ups and
Yeah.
downs, but there's incredible strength in my core.
So Chris, open that up a little bit more.
Mhm.
So you expanded.
Mhm.
You were in that group of people,
Mhm.
up leveling, expanding, and then you came back. And how did that feel? How, like every day, do you walk? Do you think about it? What do you do? Are you on Skype or Zoom, or do you email? Tell us about that.
Well, the expansion piece was really like rock solid. We call it our Bali bubble, all the way through until I put my foot on American soil. when I hit LA, I could feel all the fear. Even though I went through Taipei and had a plane full of people from all over the world, there was huge, huge fear that I felt immediately when I was in the airport in LAX. And unfortunately, I couldn't make the plane in time to go directly home. So I had to stay in a hotel and all of that sort of thing. So I had a night to sort of calm down and then come home to being 2 weeks away from my family. And during that time, my husband had to work from home. My daughter had to quit school, not quit school, but come home from school. And there was already talk of I have 2 graduates this year, one in college, one from high school. And, both are looking at graduations not happening.
Yeah.
Or, what I'd like to tell them is I don't know if we can do it all at once, but maybe do a Zoom commemorative kind of thing.
Sure.
But I think their classes might be too big. I don't know how many people you can put on Zoom. But so there was so much, they were handling things beautifully here, but to come back into old roles in my expanded self has been difficult at times and easy at other times.
Okay.
So you were asking, what do I do to keep that expansion? That expansion is to be aware of it, number one, and see when I'm going into constriction. Number two, I meditate every day. I journal every day. And we've been keeping in contact with people from the group. Like I traveled with 3 women, the 3 of us, 3 of us total, afterwards for 5 days. And so pretty much every day, either I'm hopping on with them or helping support them because they're feeling the constriction and then they feel the expansion back and forth.
Yeah.
And, for me, what Rockstars provided hugely was a community to be completely myself in all the glorious mess, as well as all the glorious put togetherness.
Yeah.
And that's basically what makes it all work.
Yeah.
That's why I was excited I could hop on today.
Nice.
Yeah. Thrilled.
Yeah.
Thrilled that you're here.
So Jude, in your story with talking with that person, and then you were able to do it. Talk about that same thing, how you changed and how you now take your steps and what you think about, and talk a little bit more about, because that expanded you.
It did, and it really did, and it's hard even to put into words how much it expanded me, Kay. Because it was like I discovered in that moment that I actually was bigger, more powerful, more capable than I had seen myself. It was like I found a different place in myself that I suspect had been there, but that I wasn't able to reach in that relationship. And so I suppose it's given me, in one way, it's given me more confidence in saying things, in allowing my voice. In another way, there's also the grief that comes with it, and it's like the things not said and the opportunities not taken in the past, and in part I'm still dealing with that. Yeah. And so that'll happen for a while, I think. But yeah, for something that took a couple of minutes, it had a really big impact.
Yeah.
It had a
Yeah.
really, really big impact.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
So I'm
Ari,
going to want to come back to these, but I think I want to also pick on Kalish.
Thank you.
Kalish.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. 2018 was my first Ignite. And wow, just going back there is feeling, so it was my first Ignite. I just said that. And my life changed. What I used to do, it's not happening this year, and it wouldn't be happening if it were happening, is I would do Easter Sunday, the talk at the Unitarian Universalist Church, a half hour from where I live, down in Mount Vernon, Washington. And so I was at Ignite, I was talking to several people about what they thought about Easter, since I don't have any personal relationship to Easter whatsoever. That's how they chose me to be their speaker, since I'm a rabbi. The first time I spoke about Passover. And so I was at Ignite, and I could just feel myself getting larger, like a new being emerging. I did a 20-minute presentation to whomever showed up on Passover. I told Bethany when I was offering to do this, I could do something for 3 minutes, or I could do something for 20 minutes, or I could do something for hours. And so she picked the 20-minute version and gave me a room, and there was about a dozen of us, and I spoke, teaching what my favorite parts of Passover are. And meanwhile, back home, Judy was, my spouse, was suffering from thinking she was in the beginning stages of Alzheimer's. And so she was shutting down her acupuncture practice. And I would watch Margaret and Bethany and be in awe of them being up there just speaking. Wasn't like they had us. And I never memorized my talks. I just wasn't able. But prepare, this is what I want to talk about. So Saturday night, as I'm flying home, about to speak the next morning, and arriving at midnight, and Judy picking me up and having a couple hours at the boardroom in the Alaska boardroom in the Seattle airport to prepare. I just couldn't do it. I didn't know what to prepare, blah, blah, blah. And that was it, blah, blah, blah. I decided I'm going to go Sunday morning and just blah, blah, blah and see what comes out. It was amazing. It was like, they almost had to take me off the stage with a hook, because I was so in it, I didn't notice the time.
Mhm.
And
Wow.
and it was very well received. I obviously did great, but I don't know what I did, because I wasn't there dealing it through. I just said, well, if Margaret and Bethany can do it, I guess I can do it. And I just did. So
Amazing.
that was my FFT.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think to tap on it. So I didn't have that benefit.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Raymond, are you still on? You listening?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought maybe you were full of stories. Thought you might have a little first time story for us.
There we go. Well, I've been on the phone, so I had on mute.
Okay.
But I'm listening to your first time. I've got a lot of first time things, but I don't think they're in the same category what you guys are doing. I don't know. But let me see. Well, I can't say first time I've been at a workshop with 100 women and me, because I did that before. But that's kind of a first time. I did a lot of first time stuff, but I haven't got anything jumping in my head right now. So, I mean, mine would be all mostly related to business stuff. The first time I did this, the first time I did that.
How about the first time you coached soccer and you didn't know a thing about it?
Oh yeah, I forgot that story. There's a lot of those. Do you want me to tell that?
Sure, that's a good one.
Okay. So what Sandy's referring to is that when my kids were in a parochial school, I wasn't raised Catholic, but I married into Catholic, and our kids ended up in a parochial school. So when they were in 6th grade, they were having a soccer team, and they had the kids the first game. The guy they hired to coach them, who knew a lot about soccer supposedly, was yelling at the kids all the time with his ethnic accent. "You stupid, get out of there. You're no good. Get somebody else in there. No, you're no better. You get out of there too. Nobody's any good on this team." So I went to the nun that was the principal of the school and told her, you got to get a different coach, or these kids will have these words in their head when they're 40 years old saying, "You're stupid, you're no good, get out of there." And she said, "I haven't got anybody else to do it." And I said, "You're better off not having a team." And she just said, "But I haven't got anybody else." And they're all excited about it. They got their shirts, they got their whatever, And so she just turned to me and she said, "Rook, I haven't got anybody else to do it." And then she put her hands out, unless, I don't know if you can see me going, but no, too big. But anyway, she said, "Unless," and she didn't say anything more. And then I didn't say anything. She said, "Unless," and she meant unless I wanted to do it. And I didn't know a darn thing about soccer. So I went, holy crap. So I did. I said, okay, so there you go. I guess that's a good first one. So I called a friend who was actually a son of a friend who was the captain of St. Bonaventure soccer team. And I said, "Vinny, you got to help me. I'm coaching soccer. And I don't know anything about it." And I called him on Sunday. And he said, "Ray, I'm leaving Tuesday morning." So he came Monday night and showed us how to do some warm-ups and exercises. And the rest of the stuff that I did, luckily this was a young group. They were 11, 12, 13 years old. I really coached them more on having fun than I did the rules of soccer, because I didn't know too much about soccer. Nobody could call anybody a name. Nobody could criticize anybody. I had them run a lap around. If they said any kind of negative word or anything, they had them do a lap around the practice area. And I must have done it one time because they all stopped. I can't remember what I did or said, but I must have said, "What the heck," or something like that. And they all stopped what they were doing and just looked at me. They were waiting to see if I was going to take a lap. But so it worked well. We got through it and had a good year and won a lot of games and had fun. But yes, that was a first. But I should add on, as Sandy, as long as you got me talking for a minute, and then I'll jump off again. The part I like about that story the best is that we won most of our games, except we lost one game 6-0. And when we had to play that team the second time, I knew we were going to lose. You can't say that to everybody, but the kids were so much bigger than us. So we were going to lose. So we're going to lose 6-0. So I somehow decided, and I don't know where this came from, divine intervention kind of stuff. I asked all the kids who would like to play goalie in this game. They know it's going to be a tough game. Who wants to play goalie that has never played goalie before? So 3 kids raised their hands. I picked the best athlete, AJ Rogers, and I kicked the ball to him a dozen times and let him catch it and stuff like that. And we got there. I got all the parents together. It was an away game. I got the parents together and the kids together, and we said, "Look, we got a different game. Our job on the sidelines and you guys on the field is every time AJ makes a save, let him know it was a good job. Cheer for him, yell, clap, whatever you want, just like he won the game every time he makes a save." Now, in these soccer games, most of the time the goalie only saves, 3, 4, 5, 6 shots a game. And, there's more shots, but they go wide or there's something else like this. So we knew we were going to get hammered, but we didn't say that. So that day, A.J. Rogers made 32 saves. And we lost 6-2. We got 2 goals in. I don't know how we did that. Last time we played, we never got the ball down the other end of the field, so we did better. But the fun part was when the other coach and the players walked across the field after the game was done. Because our guys all went and piled on the goalie the way young boys do. They just pile on him. Because they were all excited because he did so good in goal. And the other team came walking across the field with their heads down. And the coach came up and shook my hand and said, I have no idea what you just did, but if anybody watching from a distance, you think you just won an Olympic tryout game, and we lost it 6-2. So the whole theme was to have fun. That was the first time I probably did coach soccer, Sandy. Good catch.
Yeah.
Sandy, half of my stories, not all of them.
Ray, can you like coach every little kid
Hi,
team
Chris.
and some adult teams too, please?
Well, I did a talk. There was a high school retreat a week ago Saturday, and I did an hour-and-a-half talk on mindfulness and things like that. And when I got done, there was only 2 other adults there. One of the other adults that was going to teach the kids yoga in the afternoon, and they were away down to a small lake an hour away from us. And the woman came up, and she turned out to be a lacrosse coach, and asked me, "You work with sport teams?" I said, "Well," I said, "And you're asking because?" And so I said, "Look, I don't really do that, but I can do that." She captained the lacrosse team or coached it, I mean. So I said, "If you want to get hold of me, here's my card. If I got time, I'll come do it." And then she also said, "Well, I also teach English. Would you also be interested in coming doing a creative writing exercise in the class?" I said, "Well, if I got time, I'll come. So we'll see." I don't know whether or not. Now they're not in school, so that was a safe thing to say. So
Yeah.
All right, that's
So
enough.
cool.
That's awesome.
You know that.
Thank you.
All right, Chris. Is that enough, Chris? Good to see you.
It's good to see you.
Look at
Yeah,
that face. I love it.
nice, nice.
You look like you've been away and getting inspired or something. That's what you look.
Mhm.
Mild and calm and happy and yeah.
Just a little.
Yeah.
Anyway, looking good. Good to see you. I'm gonna get on mute again so I can do some other stuff while you guys are talking. So
Okay. Thank you, Ray.
Perfect.
Ladies, I must hop off as well. I have a client.
Okay.
So I just wanted to come and send my love. I miss you.
Mhm.
And Kalish and Jude, it is wonderful to meet you.
Yeah,
Yay.
good. Thank you. We'll see you again.
I'll say bye also.
It was so good
Take
to see you
care.
guys. Absolutely. Thanks you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kalish, for being here.
I'm going to head out.
Okay. Thank you, Kalish.
Perfect.
Take
You're
care.
welcome.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe we can first time and stories and experimental podcast, and I don't know, but I sure have had a good time. So,
Yeah, me too.
so what do you think, both of you?
I love the it's lovely format, just having a chat around a theme, and I love that theme actually. It's a really interesting one, and yeah, I really like it, and I've enjoyed being here. And I obviously know Kalish. I haven't met Raymond or Chris before, but that's really nice to just to open it up like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, I sent out a bunch of invitations to all sorts of people. I love that it's like the Margaret tribe, the rock stars showed up, It's kind of
Yeah.
cool. Very
That's,
cool.
yeah, that's who comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think, Sandy? First time. How do you feel?
I feel great. I feel great. I mean, this is actually how we do it all the time, just you and me, and then
Just
we
you and me.
bring in somebody to interview, as you know, Jude.
Right.
So it's kind of cool to just do the experiment this way. Say, hey, come join us.
Yeah.
And I think we've really got something here. We've been saying that for a long time, but I really do. I think it's a good
Yes. Yeah. Good.
thing.
So one more question, because we were looking at how we how we feel about things. So in a couple of days leading up to this, Sandy, this is, I mean, it's not first time for podcast, but it's first time for the experiment. And you said, why don't we do this? And you
Right.
made the copy and you're inviting people. Did you have any like angst or anxiety or moment of panic? Like when I don't answer you and I didn't do.
Well, actually, you know, when I sent out a bunch of invites through Messenger yesterday, some of them didn't have all the text in it about when it was.
Okay.
So I was getting messages back, when, what is this now? And then somebody else hit the link and said it wouldn't go through, it didn't work. And I said, well, it's not now anyway. So I thought some of those people would be here, but they're not. Although Shri said that she might be able to come on around 4:30, but I think she had
Yeah.
a call, which, you know, if we realize that we're coaching in this time of angst in the world, you know, we all do have people to help one-on-one as well. So I think that's
Yeah.
a lot what's been going on today, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had that happen. Like, oh, did I get that right? Is this right? Oh no. And so that was pretty much it. And then I felt it in my body getting ready. It's like a little bit of that adrenaline stuff that comes up, but you know, I lit my incense like I always do for calls, and did a little bit of tapping and a little bit of fire breathing, get myself ready. So you know, not too bad at all. And then of course it was right before I said, wait a minute, I don't have the ability to launch this. If you're still on the other call, how do we get this one started? So your text came through really pretty right at the right same time. I was thinking about, so it was perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Because, yeah. So
Okay.
good.
So in the spirit of experiment, we'll talk about this later, but I'm thinking about inviting everyone again. Next week will be another week in. How have things changed? How have things settled down? How are we normalizing? How are we getting used to how to be in this? It's just like, for me, what I'm seeing is coming out of our bubble from our live event and having talked and feeling different. The world is different. First of all, the world was different to me and I was different. And then, just like Chris said, when she got off the plane, the world's really different. And now this is the second week. Next week we'll be going into the third. What's happening? How can we mark this? How can we talk about it?
Well, some people are just starting. Like my friend in Florida said they were just starting, and some, I guess the rest of Georgia is just starting this. So people are in different segments of it, you know, because of course here in New York, we were pretty quick on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to say, coming out of Ignite, because we were in that bubble, just like Chris was saying, the Bali bubble, we had our Ignite bubble where we were in such antiviral healing energy kind of place, and I took that with me. You know, and when I came out and went in, the Lyft driver was amazing, the airport was amazing, people were looking you in your eye and smiling and treating everyone well. There's a lot of respect for distance and that kind of stuff. So it was really a good trip for me. And I'm used to being home, working from home, so that hasn't been tough either. So, you know, I think it's really very, very different for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I think definitely checking in next time on, okay, now where are we? Because we've been looking at how we're going to go forward.
Right, right. So I would love to hear where people are and put a little bit of a focus on that. And then I would love to go into, and now what's your next step? What are you doing? And there's not a lot some of us are doing because we're still isolated. But there's some things that we're doing, like as I go outside and take my walks, I'm seeing a lot more people. They're out and about. Now, I'm not with them, you know, we're across the street,
Yep.
But there's a lot more people out,
Mhm.
and it does warm my heart.
Yeah.
So I want to start hearing our forward stories as well.
Yes, I love the gift behind all of this. I don't know if you noticed this, Jude, but I think as we look at the gift the earth is getting with this, that, you know, in Venice, the swans and the dolphins are back and the water's clear, and they're singing across from window to window with each other. And in Spain, they brought their instruments out on their balconies to play, and it was like a whole band from balcony to balcony. And I saw in New York City, there was a spot where people were just across the street. Some guy started in his window with a music playing, and they were singing Sweet Caroline, and they were all way distances apart, but they were all singing and enjoying each other. And I do see that. I see a lot of civility and humanness. Everybody's not in such a rush, you know. And some normalcy is coming back, I think, just from people calming down. Okay, I have enough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be
Yeah.
okay, and working with how people are coming together, like how the teachers are all making sure the kids have what they need, you know, all that stuff. Audrey.
Yeah. Nice.
Audrey's
Yeah.
here. We're just wrapping up. Audrey, how are you?
Welcome, Audrey. Let me see if I can
Okay.
I just
Hey,
unmuted you.
I'm good. I'm sorry. I didn't realize you'd unmuted me. Yeah, I just got free and I said, I have to show my face there at least for this last bit.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you for that. Yeah. Yeah. So tell us before we close. There you are.
Hey.
Wonderful
good
to see you. Yeah. Tell us how you are and how things are going with you and your family in right now. This first time with the world. We're together.
Actually, I'm pretty good. Not
Okay.
nervous. There's no anxiety. The family is good too. Like all of us are like pretty calm. My son was a little nervous in the beginning, but he's fine too now. So
Okay,
yeah,
good.
Wonderful.
like pretty good.
Yeah. Well, you look amazing.
You do.
Oh, thank you.
There's a glow.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, the lights.
Well, you can blame it on the lights if you want to, Audrey. But we know you. You have this
Yeah.
little tiny bit of a glow that is coming out and blossoming. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Good. I'm so glad
Yeah.
you're here. Yeah.
I forget, where do you live, Audrey? I forgot.
Texas.
That's
Texas.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Are you in lockdown yet? I know your state was.
They have sort of like made it that you move out only when it's essential and
Mhm.
stuff like that. And
Mhm.
it is sort of a lockdown, but I don't see people really following it. There are people who are following, and then there are people who are not. So
I know.
Yeah.
how are you all doing though?
We're all good. Yeah. We're pretty good. People are paying attention. You know, you can only go get carry out, and you get that from the curb, and you know, you can go to the grocery store, which Ray went yesterday, and it was back to like normal. You know, there was a lot of precautions being taken around it, but still not so parking lot overflowing and lots of people trying to, you know, panic. It's back to, the shelves keep getting restocked. We're okay. The truckers are bringing things in, and the farmers are still, you know, getting stuff out. So
Yeah, there's plenty of food. Yes, the only thing that was a problem was the toilet paper.
you know, that used to happen in snowstorms. And when I lived in the DC area, that was always the first, you know, bread, milk, and toilet paper for the
Wow.
snowstorms.
Oh, okay.
And if you got everybody home, you gotta be going through that stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Wow. All
Yeah,
right.
I don't see any reason to panic. There's plenty of food, there's plenty of everything. It's just
Yeah,
maybe you'll not get it one day, you'll get it the other day. That's how it happened for me.
exactly.
So it's just, yeah, it's just there's nothing to really panic as long as
Wonderful.
you're taking precautions and
Good,
eating
good.
good. Yeah.
All right, good.
Okay.
So I think we're going to do this again. So we will be sure and send you out a note and a link. And if you're available, we'd love to have you join us next week or the week after. Yeah.
Hmm.
All right.
I know it's late for you, Jude.
Yeah, I
It
would-
is. Yeah, it's just coming up to 9 o'clock at night here.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Just about my
Wow.
bedtime.
Yeah.
It would
Well,
be
thank
mine.
you. Thank you for being here. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so good
My
to have you
pleasure.
here.
My pleasure. Good
Yeah.
to meet you.
Wonderful.
Okay.
All right, Sandy, thank you so
Good
much for
night.
your brilliant idea for putting this together. I'd follow you anywhere.
Well, thanks for getting the Zoom link and getting us on. So
Okay, we're there.
working. It's a good job. So
We'll do it again.
wonderful. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll
Stay
put
safe,
this up.
everyone.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. Okay.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Take
Take
care.
care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Three.
Thanks,
Thank
Sandy.
you.